Socrates had a very famous quote. He said the key to a happy life is to do what? One more time, twice as loud, please. Know thyself. So to be authentic, your life direction must be a fruit that blossoms from your inner seeds, not from outer pressures, outer situations, and even outer opportunities. And that's a big one, isn't it? I'm going to say it again. To be authentic, your true life direction has to come from your inside and not from outside, whether they're pressures and situations or even opportunities that have come your way. How many people recognize that a lot of people are quote unquote stuck in their situation because an opportunity came their way, they took advantage of it in order to just kind of like do this, and then they move on, but they never have moved on. Yes? And that's why it's, again, whenever it comes from the outside, it is not going to be a situation that's going to bear fruit in the end in the way you'd like it to. So therefore, it has to come from who you are. And the more insights you have about yourself, the better. So you'd think that a lot of people would, we'd all know who we are. We all know everything about ourselves. But generally, we don't take the time to really do any reflection and ask ourselves certain questions so we can actually really see, at least down on paper, who it is that we are and what we really enjoy and what we don't enjoy. Yes or yes? All right. So that's why this course is a really strong idea, because it'll give you uninterrupted. What's the word? And focused time to reflect on who you are. And this is the first of many of our self-discovery questionnaire that we'll be doing. And, we'll start kind of on a surface level and move deeper and deeper as we proceed with it. So go ahead right now to page number 1 in your binder. And then I want you to turn to page number 9. Page number 9. So you are going to fill in the answers from page 1 through and including page 9, but not beyond. All right, you'll have a total of 20 to 30 minutes to do this, depending on how quick you are. So move pretty quickly. And again, I'm going to ask you to just kind of really, give yourself an opportunity to really have a look at this during this program, because, you can have your pat answers, but you can also look at adding some other pieces you maybe had been kind of like lurking in the back, but you really hadn't put them out there before. Just answer them the best you can and look for some other things, including what you normally answer, but some other pieces you may have not written down before, because we want some things that are coming from deep within you. All right, go ahead and you'll take 20 or 30 minutes. I'll let you know when it's done. Okay, very good. Excellent job, everybody, excellent job. So I'd like some people to stand up and just simply, I'll call on you, and just share with us one thing. How many things? One key thing you learned about yourself during this exercise, or one reoccurring theme that you found that either you surprised you, or it was very strong for you, or anything in that arena. Who'd be willing to share with us just as an example? Right, this lady right here, just stand up, please.
I'm Connie, and teaching came up for me again. I've always taught, but I've been looking at broadening, but it just keeps coming up over. I love it. I just love teaching.
Sounds like it, doesn't she?
Train the trainer.
Yes, good. Give her a round of applause. Thank you. Yes, this lady right here.
The thing that came up for me, and it was, I'm Marilyn. There are no mistakes for why you're partnered with somebody, but one of the things I put down on my list was, as a child, was alchemist. And I'm very good at both math and science and teaching and art and stuff like that. And what I realized is I am an alchemist. It's not like I want to be, because at the beginning of the list I thought, oh, that's the one thing I haven't done. I haven't really become an alchemist. I have pursued I'm becoming a spiritual practitioner as well. And I thought, oh, well, I've done all these things. And then when I got to the end of the list, it was, I am an alchemist. It's not just Leonardo da Vinci that's an alchemist. So It was a neat experience.
So then the question will be,
she had the same experience because she also is very good in math and science and art and spiritual. And so it was like, whoa, there's two of us. It was fun. It was really exciting.
Do you want some more coffee? Okay. Give her a round of applause. Thank you. Very good. So the question will be, for you, will be, how do you frame that, and how do you possibly utilize that more in your life, right?
Well, I've been finding out that I am so on track, and I didn't even realize it. Oh, I'm Michael. Yeah. But I am going to stick around for the next 2 days just in case I learn something.
All right, that's good. Good. Give her a round of applause. Very good. If you're finding out that you're on track, then what that means is that, and how many people actually recognize that very often we are on track, but our mind has a way of doubting our tracks, yes? Half the people here come out with a new direction or new possibilities, and the other half are totally confirmed in where they are. And isn't that just as important, so that your mind doesn't have a chance to keep on nagging you? Well, is this it? You know it. This is the right place. And then you'll have opportunities of spreading that vehicle out and having alternative vehicles for your same mission. Does that make sense? Yeah. All right, very good. I'd like to give you a couple of distinctions that you may or may not be familiar with. First is this. What's it say, please? One more time, twice as loud, please. Pleasure versus joy. Pleasure is usually a sensory-based phenomenon. And senses come from the where? From the brain, from the mind. Does that make sense? So, and so that's what pleasure is all about. People say, I want to have pleasure, and that's great, except for pleasure is a sensory perception and generally comes from the mind base. Not that it's a bad thing, just where you need to know where it's come from. Joy, on the other hand, is completely different, because joy is actually a clue directly from the what? From the heart. The feeling of joy is different. And, it's hard to explain feelings, isn't it? You can only experience feelings, right? I mean, I can stand here and tell you what joy feels like, but you know what joy feels like, and you know what pleasure feels like. And they're different, aren't they? So this joy is a little different. So the word enjoyment, all that means is being in joy. Enjoy. How many of you want to enjoy? So the enjoyment must be a criteria for where you want to go, yes? Vital criteria. Why? Because it is a clue directly from the heart. You enjoy things that are different than the person right beside you on both sides and right and front and behind. You understand that? You have different enjoyments, don't you? And so it's an individual thing. Many people have very similar pleasures. Very similar, okay? Some people, obviously a few differences, but very similar pleasures. But when it comes to joy, that is really a clue from the heart. So really look to the things you truly find joy in and enjoy. I love doing that, right? And that is something that you can actually hold on to. So my recommendation is those pieces that have come up in the work so far, really put a star beside them. Don't worry in any of this right now. Can I make any money at it? How do I package it? That's for way later. I promise you we'll bring that in later on. At this point in time, we're just looking for pieces, clues that are seeds within us that we can evoke and bring out and express and recognize and observe and go, I really enjoy doing this or being this or getting involved in this, yes? All right, so joy is one of them. Now, the second distinction here that will be important for a lot of you is this one here. What's it say, please? Excellent. One more time, so twice as loud. Good job. Thank you. Skills are generally learned propositions. They are what? Learned. And that means if they're learned, they're based in the past because you learned them. Understand? And for an example, we had a student recently who, he's an accountant. And, he might be very good at it, but he hates being an accountant. The only thing is, I tell him about changing his possibilities. He says, but I'm good at it. And I've invested so much time and energy and study in it. I went to school forever for it. I've got my masters and schmasters and this and that. And, I've got all this time and energy invested in this. And I'm good at it. Why? You understand? Yes, but I hate it, right? You can have all of that, but if you don't really enjoy it, it's not your true direction. It's a direction. It's workable. It'll make you a decent living, both financially and psychically and spiritually, but no more than that. Got it? If you want to not earn, but live a decent life, then that's up to you. It's not what you come to our courses for. You don't need our courses to live a decent life. Understand what I'm saying? Our programs are to take you another level up, to help you reach your quote-unquote peak potentials, to help you move at a level that's higher than decent. Like excellent, like fantastic, like incredible, like why not? Some people do, why not you? Yes or yes? Yes. Say, why not me? Why not me? No good reason. So generally, very often if people stay with things because they're skilled at it, they do so because they come from a place generally of fear and obligation. You understand what I'm saying? Very often. I'm not saying that in any way, shape, or form skills are bad. I'm just saying that I don't want you to make your decisions based on what you're skilled at. Unless your skill is a development of this one. What's that? Talents. Natural talents are generally what we call God-given gifts, or universe's gifts. They are organic. They grow from inside of you, and generally they have been with you forever, since birth. You didn't have to learn this. It was a part of you. You're always good at it or understanding at it. And yes, you can develop a talent into a skill, and that's a great thing to do. Yes? So just because, let's say, you're talented at training or speaking or communicating, doesn't mean you're very skilled at it. And it doesn't hurt to develop skills along to upgrade your talent, yes? To utilize it better in the real world, yes? However, you don't want to be coming from here, you want to be coming from here, and if you can develop that into a skill, that's even all the better. So, many people have natural talents that are latent. In other words, they have never been fully utilized and developed in you. And I don't mean fully utilized, just that you're really taking advantage of the gifts that were given to you. Do you understand this? Yes or no? Yes. And I'm giving you permission from me, from everyone in your past, and yourself. All of us are now giving you full permission, and the new expectation is for you to much more fully utilize those natural gifts and talents you came to this earth with, because you came with them for a very specific reason. They would not have been given to you specifically if you weren't meant to use them. Do you understand that? I want to give an example of that is, you know that I didn't start, quote unquote, speaking or training until I was 36 years old. And so what was I doing from the time I was 18 to 36? Well, who the hell knows? You know, I was doing everything but, right? But that wasn't it's just that I didn't, I was thinking about how I'm making money here and business there and, find something I kind of could like a little bit. And if I could find both, it'd be great. But it never dawned on me until I started doing this kind of work and really recognizing that I had some latent talent in that area, and that it went back to when I was a kid. But I want to give you a scenario right now that hopefully you can get a good example from. So in this scenario, we have a lake. We have a what? Lake. Here's our lake. There is a weak swimmer, and there is a strong swimmer. And the weak swimmer actually challenges the strong swimmer to a race across the lake. And the strong swimmer accepts and wants to bet on it. And the weak swimmer says, I'll bet you whatever you want as long as I get to choose how this works. And they say, okay, fine. Say, well, the way it's going to work is I'm going to start at one side of the lake, and you start at the other side of the lake, and we will see who gets to their respective sides first. And the winner here's the weak swimmer, here's a strong swimmer, and who won? The weak one won. Very interesting. And why did the weak one win? Because the weak one chose to swim with the current. So, You have these interests and talents and joys that you wrote down there for a reason. For a what? And these elements are your current. Your what? They are your current, your flow. And the idea for you is to swim with them instead of against them. If you use them, you will without a doubt achieve, I promise you, both success and happiness. And if you don't use them, chances are really good in life you will lose the race, no matter how much you struggle and no matter how strong you are. You understand what I'm saying? Because look at it this way. If you're doing what you truly enjoy and utilizing your, by the way, how many of you will notice that your talents, that whenever you are using your talents, you have a sense of joy? How many of you know that when you have a sense of joy, we're very often using your talents, your natural gifts, right? So they go together, right? Yes or no? Yeah. One of the things that, there's a saying by Leo Buscaglia, and what he says, listen closely, I love this thing. He says, your talents are God's gifts to you. Using them is your gift back to God. Isn't that cute? It's beautiful, isn't it? I'll say it again. Your talents are God's gifts to you. Using them is your gift back to God. Using them. Most people are absolutely not using their quote-unquote universes or God's given talents. The peace that they came here with. And they have glimpses of it all the time, but they quote-unquote aren't sure if that's where they should be in because of the financial arenas and, you know, the pressures and this and that. But if you are not using your natural gifted talent, you are not serving the world, and you are not serving yourself, and you could never reach your full potential, both financially or on a level of happiness. Does that make any sense to anybody here? So how many of you are willing to begin to use their natural talents to the fullest and express that in the world? Yes? Yes or no? Yes. All right, give somebody a high five and say, you're awesome.